After leaving Adele's office, I went home, leaving the children at my folks' for the night, as I didn't want them around when we had our confrontation. Late in the afternoon, I ordered a pizza to be delivered about the time Jane usually got home. The actual delivery coincided with Jane's arrival. After paying the delivery man, I took a deep breath and turned to greet Jane as she came through the door from the garage. "Pizza tonight, John? What's the occasion?" "I thought we needed a little time to ourselves." "Where are the kids?" "They're over at my folks'. I asked them to keep them for the night." "What are you planning for tonight?" "Something for the bedroom," she asked as she reached up to kiss me, but I turned my head so she kissed my cheek. She looked at me kind of funny. "What's going on, John?" "We need to talk, Jane, but I'd like to eat first if you don't mind." She suddenly looked pale and withdrawn as she stared at me. "All right, John." We ate in silence, and I noticed she wouldn't look me in the eyes. When we finished, I took her hand and we went into the den. She sat on the couch and indicated she wanted me to sit beside her, but I took a seat facing her. "I don't know how to start this, but to just come out and ask, are you cheating on me?" "Why do you ask that, John? Just answer the question." "No, I've never cheated on you, John. You're sitting there and telling me that the hour you spend with Bob Simpson on Tuesday and Thursday in a cheap motel was so you can get in a game of canasta?" She suddenly sobbed and turned away. "Oh God. Oh God. I'm so sorry." "Are you sorry you were caught?" "No, I didn't want to hurt you. That's a lot of trash. Did you think you could do it forever and not get caught?" "Eventually I was going to find out." "Do you love him?" "He's married too and has a baby and another on the way." "What about his wife and his family?" "Are you sorry you hurt them too? Because I'm certainly going to tell them." "Oh God. No. Please no. Don't do that. I don't love him. It was just the thing. Don't destroy his family. Why should he destroy our marriage and get away scot-free? If you want a divorce, I'll give you one, but be aware you will not get custody of Beth or Ann. I will fight you tooth and nail on that one." "No, no, no." "So what's it going to be? Do you want to go into counseling and try to save this marriage? Or do you want to run off to your lover?" "Counseling. Please, I need help. We need help. I'll go anytime, anywhere you want. I don't want to give up you or my babies." "What about your lover? Are you going to continue to see him?" "No, it's over." "Why did you start your affair? Wasn't I providing you with everything you needed?" "You were fine, John." "It was me. I wanted more and I don't know why." "It may be better, Jane, if we forego the counseling until a psychiatrist can determine why you feel you need more than what our marriage can provide. Once we know that, we can enter counseling to find out how to cope with it." "Maybe you're right. I don't know what to do," she wailed. "How am I going to trust you in the future? Do you know it cost $2,000 from our savings to just monitor you for 1 week and find out what you were doing?" "I'm so sorry, John. I just didn't think about any consequences. It seemed so exciting that it just got into me and I couldn't stop. I will try to get the name of a psychiatrist and set you up with an appointment as soon as possible. In the meantime, I want you to move your things into the guest room until I figure I can sleep with you again." "All right, John. I guess I deserve that. I suppose it would be meaningless to tell I love you, but I will abide by your wishes," she said as she stood up and went to our bedroom. If you're enjoying my content, consider joining my Patreon community. By becoming a patron, you'll get access to full parts of my videos much earlier than everyone else. Plus, you'll be supporting me to create even more awesome content for you. Check out the link in the description to join now. When she left, I looked up Bob Simpson's phone number and placed a call to his home. He answered the phone. "May I speak with Mrs. Simpson, please?" I asked. "May I say who's calling?" "This is John Martin calling." He immediately slammed the phone down and I redialed. It rang until the answering machine picked it up. "This is John Martin calling to talk with Jessica Simpson. I have an urgent message for her about her husband. My phone number is 555-1234. I waited 5 minutes and then called and left the same message on the phone again. I did this for an hour and then waited half an hour before starting again. Finally, he responded in a voice filled with rage. "I'm going to call the telephone company and police unless you stop this harassment. I'm going to talk to your wife one way or another, Mr. Simpson. You might try to confess to her, because when I sue you for interfering in my marriage, it's going to be hard to keep it from her. Please, please don't do this. She's expecting any day now, and this would upset her greatly." You should have thought about that before you started the affair with my wife. If you think you're just going to walk free after ruining my marriage, you better come up with a new thought. Your wife was the one that kept chasing me. I really didn't want to do it, but she persisted. Can't we wait to tell my wife until after she delivers? Please." I suddenly felt compassion for his wife. "All right, asshole. I'm going to give you until after she has the baby. But you'd better think about confessing before I tell her, and I'm certainly going to make sure she knows what a bastard you are." "Thank you," he sobbed as he hung up. I felt better now that the bastard was suffering. I went back to find my wife. She had moved into the guest room and was curled up on the bed in a fetal position, asleep. I went back to my room and tried to sleep too. It bothered me what he'd told me that she had chased him. I don't know whether he was lying or not, but it gave me a sense of foreboding. The next few weeks were quiet around the house. The kids reacted to Jane and my discomfort with one another and became more withdrawn and less interactive. She quit her job and started to see a psychiatrist, and I attended a session occasionally at the doctor's request in order to help discover the cause of her problem, but she didn't seem to want to acknowledge why she did what she did. I tried being more loving and supportive at home, and after several weeks invited her back to our bed. She seemed to respond positively to that, and though our first attempt at S was awkward, we eventually became intimate again. In order to bring more variety into our S life, I brought home DVDs to watch and try to imitate wherever we could. It was fun, but I didn't think she achieved much excitement or satisfaction from it. I was beginning to wonder if I could ever trust her again. She had found a new job, and I instigated steps to check on her whereabouts while she was working. I would call at odd times on her office phone while she was at lunch and during the day. If she didn't answer, I would request a detailed reason for her lack of response, which I could confirm. If she was late getting home from work, I demanded the same satisfaction. She didn't like my constant monitoring, but knew until my trust was restored she'd have to put up with it. A few weeks after Bob Simpson's wife had her baby, I caught her at home while he was working, and after identifying myself, asked her if her husband had ever mentioned my wife. She admitted that he had, and they were in counseling for their problem. I was satisfied with the outcome, as I didn't want to carry a hate forever. 6 months after our confrontation, I didn't feel that Jane was achieving the progress I had hoped for. Even the psychiatrist expressed concern in a private conversation I had with her. I had a trip planned to attend a week-long conference in another city coming up, which I did annually, and I thought that this might be a test for Jane to see how she would act while I was gone. I called Adele and asked her to contact the PI, Jack Pagano, for a job. If Jane were to fail this test, I would want Adele in at the beginning. She had Jack come to the house while Jane was working, and I explained that I would be out of town the following week and I wanted the house instrumented for video and audio detection devices to determine what happened at home while I was gone. In order to catch possible activities away from home, I also wanted her under visual surveillance for those times she wasn't at home also. This was going to be expensive, but I felt it had to be done to begin to restore some trust in our marriage. He came over the next day to install and check out the necessary devices while she was at work. He showed me where and how to turn the system on when I left for my conference. After turning on the detection system, I left home on Sunday evening to be in attendance for the opening ceremonies on Monday morning. When I arrived at the hotel, I called home to let them know I arrived safely. She was just putting the kids to bed when I called, so I had a chance to talk with them, both kids also. Everything seemed normal. During the week, I maintained my surveillance calls to her office during the day and now in the evenings. I also called my folks and hoped that she found I was calling them also. Then if she brought the kids over to them to watch in the evenings, I would know about it, and she would have to provide a reason. She also couldn't hire a babysitter for the same reason. The most likely place she could resume her affair would be at home. During the week, my calls were all answered and I felt some relief, but the detection devices and the PI report on surveillance would provide the final story when I got home. The following Friday afternoon, I arrived home while she was at work and the kids were at my parents'. Without touching the detection system, I called Jack to alert him that I was home. He hurried over and shut down the system and took the recordings back to his office from the sealed box he had left the recorders in. He asked me to come to Adele's office Monday, and we would review the results of the week-long surveillance. On Monday morning, I headed for Adele's office after dropping the kids at my parents'. As I drove, I determined that whatever the outcome of this was, I owed my parents big time for their help during this time, albeit only as dependable babysitters. They were waiting for me as I arrived, and Jack played the DVD for us. He told us up front that there was a lot of material on them that was innocent, so he was cutting to the parts we would want to see. I suddenly knew that this would probably not be good. The scenes we watched related to Wednesday evening as determined by the date and time shown on the video. Jane entered our bedroom followed by Bob Simpson. They undressed almost in a panic and got on the bed without speaking. When I saw Bob I suddenly realized why she wanted him. It was huge. It wasn't that it was that long, but it was especially large in its diameter. Without foreplay, she got on her back on the bed. I noticed they weren't even waiting for him to put on a C. Come on, big guy. God, I've missed it. I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't want to hurt my wife again, he said as he got on the bed. I blushed and was humiliated by her words that implied she couldn't feel my. She began moaning and then yelling. I knew I would never sleep on that mattress again. Suddenly, the wide-angle lens showed a movement at the open door to the bedroom. Beth was standing there watching them. Oh God, I moaned. No. It was a few minutes before Jane recovered to see Beth. Beth, baby, why are you up? She asked as she jumped up and went at Beth naked. Bob was still on the bed. I heard you yelling, Mama. Come on, sweetie. Let's go back to bed, Jane said as she disappeared with Beth out the door and down the hall. A few minutes later, she was back. Okay, that's all I need to see now, Adele proclaimed. What do you want to do, John? You can go after her for adultery with these pictures, and there will be no question about your getting custody if you want a divorce. Go for it, I told her. I was enraged that she would show so little love and respect for me that she would have it with someone else in our bed and had demeaned and see me. I'll have the papers filed by noon. See the judge this afternoon to get a temporary restraining order on her to stay away from your home and kids, and I'll have her served at work this afternoon. Finally, I'll serve her boyfriend for alienation of affection today. This is going to be a busy day that I'm going to enjoy very much. What should I be doing in the meantime? You can cancel all your mutual credit cards, change your insurance beneficiaries, change your will and close mutual checking, savings, and stock accounts. Then get a locksmith to change your locks and fix your garage door opener so she can't open it. Have her call me to get approval to remove her clothes and other personal items. That should keep you busy for the rest of the day. When she or her lawyer try to contact you, refer them to me. In no way meet or talk with them without me being there. Do you understand? Yes, thank you. Will you keep me informed as to how things are progressing today? Please call me on my cell. I'll do that. I left and headed to our bank. I spent the rest of the day changing our finances and getting a locksmith to our house. I was on my way to pick up the kids and then meet the locksmith when I received a call from Adele. You'd better prepare for some responses. The server is on his way. The judge took one look at that scene in your bedroom, and it was a piece of cake after that. Have a nice day. Thanks, Adele. It was about 45 minutes later that I got the panic phone call from Jane, who sounded distraught. John, why are you divorcing me? I thought we were all right now. You can't do what you did last Wednesday night, Jane, and expect our marriage to continue. Please don't call me again. Have your lawyer contact mine from now on. Goodbye. Oh my God. I heard her cry as I broke the connection. It's been 3 years since the divorce. I understand she moved away back to her hometown to be near her family. She has supervised visitation rights twice a year with the kids when she comes at Christmas holidays and over the 4th of July to spend a day with them at my folks. I've refused to see her or talk with her since the day she was served. Bob Simpson's wife divorced him and took him to the cleaners. I'm remarried again now. I started going to church with the kids and met a woman there my age who was divorced also. She couldn't give her first husband kids, and he wanted some, so they split. She loved kids and loves mine very much. We fell in love and got married. It was as though a prayer was answered. We're great in bed together, so I'm not worried she'd be looking for something bigger. Been there, done that.